Oh my God. 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 Oh, God.
No, okay, who was gonna tell me that trying to write a book was just really complicated one-person D&D? I'm going insane. I wrote a 21-letter alphabet for a language that doesn't exist. This is a map of a country that doesn't exist, with a timeline for a history that doesn't exist. I am writing down the very year that each one of these settlements happened in just the smidgen of a chance that they might get mentioned in the book at all. Just hoping that the characters that I will eventually get to writing might show up here. And with all this, I might end up abandoning this whole thing and doing something entirely different tomorrow.
This is my favorite trick for planning a novel. Instead of starting by brainstorming the beginning of your story, start with the end and work backward. This is how to do it. Imagine where your main character will be at the end of your story and write it down. Then write down the exact opposite situation. That's where they should be at the start. So, for example, I might write that at the end of the book, my character is open to love and finally following their career dreams. Which means that at the beginning, they should be convinced they're better off alone and working an unfulfilling job. The plot of the book is going to be what makes them change. I hope this helps. Be sure to follow for more writing advice.
This is my process of turning the book I wrote into an actual printed novel. After I finished writing and editing my first draft of my novel, the first thing I do is create a copy of my novel. This is the copy where I do all of my formatting for my actual copy of the book, and I leave my manuscript copy completely alone. Once you have your new copy, the first thing to do is to go into page setup and change the page size to A5, and I like to change my margins right here. The next thing I do is go up here to format, and I add page numbers and headers and footers. Then begins the fun part of editing and formatting the book to make it look the way you want, like changing the fonts and the sizes. Really, it's all about making your book uniquely your own, to your own liking. As you see here with this book, I kind of went with a pirate feel to my fonts and my orientation. And the last thing you should do is just glance over every single page to make sure there's no blank pages or any formatting errors. Once you're completely done, I upload this file into Amazon KDP. Amazon KDP is then where I print my proof copies.
More unsolicited world building advice, because I want to clarify that just because you do really detail-oriented world building does not mean that your audience needs to know every detail, right? So I have this food in 85 and scene called sambosa, and a lot of my readers immediately clocked that as samosa. They were like, okay, this is fantasy samosa, but it's actually derived from sambusa, the Farsi name, because a lot of Hasiyam is inspired by Persian culture. Even Yada's uncle, Daryush, who is literally in one episode, is a nod to King Daryush I and his palace in the ancient Persian city of Susa, which inspired Dargam. That detail is not in the narrative of the story, but I think the process of having to create an internal system of logic behind the naming, the language, geography, magic, or whatever aspect of the world building is what makes it feel consistent and believable.
We're at Hogwarts!
No, that's Buckingham Palace. Hogwarts is fictional. Do you know that? It's important to me that you know that.
Girl, don't do it. It's not worth it. I'm not gonna do it, girl. I was just thinking about it. I'm not gonna do it. I did it.